Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a Kentucky fire department warns about slick surfaces after the recent winter storm. And an Eastern Kentucky woman takes action to fight against hunger in her community with the help of volunteers.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good Monday morning to you. It's just before 5 o'clock here. I'm Dakota Makris, and I tell you what, the weekends get shorter and shorter. Let's head over to Brandon Robinson for a look at our forecast this morning. And Brandon, it's finally calm out there for once.
Yes.
So listen, that's a relief.
Much needed break. It was a nice weekend after Friday, and then everything else kind of staying calm all week long. We definitely could use the break this week because it has been a long 8 weeks as we've seen a little bit of everything. Tornadoes, winter weather, you name it, we've probably seen it. Let's take a look, see what's going on this morning. Cold temperatures, but not much else. We're seeing 19 there in Monticello to about 28 in Hazard and Wise, 33 in Jackson is our hot spot, 32 in Prestonsburg and Logan. Everybody is at least a few degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday, so we're moving in the right direction for that as well. A little extra as you head out the door on the coffee meter this morning, nothing too crazy. And the forecast itself, nothing too crazy as temperatures top out right around 50 degrees later on today. Sunny skies to start, but a few clouds will be added in later into the day. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, in a news conference, Lexington Police Chief Lawrence Weathers confirmed that a Lexington police officer was shot in an incident at a gas station on Newtown Pike Saturday afternoon. He says officers approached 4 teens to investigate whether they may have been involved in a shooting on an earlier date. Well, Kentucky State Police confirmed one of the teens fired a weapon, hitting an officer. Another officer returned gunfire.
I believe they were investigating another incident. Not that these two have been conclusively decided that they were linked, but they were investigating another incident.
Well, 3 of those teens have been detained, but Chief Weathers could not share any details about the 4th person. The investigation is ongoing, and the chief says it is being taken on by Kentucky State Police. In the meantime, the officer will be on administrative assignment. Well, Lexington police say they are investigating a deadly shooting as a murder-suicide. The Fayette County coroner confirmed the deaths of 10-year-old Landon Hayes and 22-year-old Tyrus Latham. Now, the Lexington police arrived at the scene after receiving a call for shots fired. They found Latham and Landon suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Their names were not released earlier, and the relationship between the two is not clear. Now, this is an ongoing story. Well, after the past ice storm, many surfaces are still slick, and this can lead to falls. Lexington Fire Department officials say they have seen an increase in ice-related injuries since the beginning of the winter and want to make sure people are staying safe. Major Gerald Evans of the Lexington Fire Department says it's important to wear proper footwear when interacting with icy surfaces.
I always like to take short, small steps. Make sure you can kind of keep yourself balanced, and if there's anything to grab a hold of like a handrail or whatnot.
Temperatures are looking a little warmer this week, but there is still the threat of some freezing. Evans says it's good to assess yourself if you fall before getting up and to call 911 if you think you may be hurt. Hunger affects more people than we know, especially here in Eastern Kentucky. But one Breathitt County woman decided to stand up and take action. In December of 2020, Patsy Clare of Jackson was inspired to create the Breathitt County Hunger Alliance to help in food insecurity with her community. As of now, her and other Alliance volunteers have been able to create a senior citizen food box program and even partner with other charitable organizations to help benefit people in Breathitt County.
Hunger is something that people should not have to worry about, not in the United States, but we do. We do have to worry about it. It is an issue, and it's an issue here in Breathitt County. People don't want to talk about it. People don't want to think about it.
Patsy Clare says her and the other Hunger Alliance volunteers are working to open their food box distribution to more people in the county. Well, the United States Department of Agriculture released new guidelines on Friday that could affect what your kid eats at school. The updates, which will go into effect during the next 2 academic years, will focus on making students' meals more healthy. The new standards include schools offering flavored 1% milk in addition to other non-fat and low-fat options. At least 80% of grains in school breakfasts and lunches per week must be whole grain rich. There will be a 10% decrease in the weekly sodium limit for school lunches as well. The last time major updates were made to school nutrition standards was in 2012. A state representative in Tennessee has filed legislation to allow medical cannabis in the state. Democrat Representative Jason Powell said if the constitutional amendment is passed, it would allow people in Tennessee to use medical cannabis legally for approved medical conditions, including cancer, epilepsy, and multiple sclerosis. The state would give oversight of the medical cannabis program that would include the in-state cultivation, processing, and sale of cannabis. If passed, there would also be a 4% tax on the sale. Tennessee legislature is also considering a new bill that will change the definition of law enforcement officers. The bill would expand the definition of law enforcement officer to include a person who has been issued an enhanced handgun carry permit, essentially amending a Tennessee code that gives businesses the power to prohibit firearms in buildings. Opponents of the bill say the 8 hours of training requirement to get the permit is not enough compared to the 24-week officers and deputies must undergo. The West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection says it was notified of an oil spill at a Lexington Coal Company facility on the Pond Fork branch of the Little Coal River in Boone County. Representatives with the Van Fire Department say vandals had opened a valve on the transformer, releasing 5,000 gallons of mineral oil into a sediment pond, which then leaked into the Pond Fork River. Officials will be on site over the coming days to conduct a stream assessment and ensure the spill is cleaned up. Well, thank you so much for getting your Monday morning started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, more than a dozen people find themselves in a scary situation while out on the ice. We'll have those details.
And sunny skies. I have never been so glad to say those two words in my entire life. I will tell you how long they will last in about 3 minutes.